I want to highlight one key point. That economic diversification across the region, in the Gulf area, across the Middle East, is still not a fait accompli yet. It's not done yet. I know people have been trumpeting how much progress the non-oil sector has achieved in the last few years, maybe in the last few decades. And it's true, we are heading in that direction. I'm not denying that this is not the case, but we cannot deny that those economies remain oil dependent. And it tells me one thing, that this is very important aspect to pursue today even faster than before. So we should not lose sight of the main aspect, that is the need for economic diversification, because there is no guarantee. Yes, we're going to have spikes in prices in the future that cannot be ruled out, but it seems to be that we are heading more towards this more longer period of low oil price environment than we have experienced perhaps in the past. And how sustainable are the economies in the Gulf? They are not going to collapse. We're not going to have suddenly a massive crisis across the region, but it's not a comfortable situation to be in, especially in the light of the ambitious projects that we heard about announced in Saudi Arabia, announced across the region. How are you going to sustain and achieve those goals? But it's not just about those projects, Sean. I'm taking more the longer term perspective, especially when you look at the longer term direction of oil markets. This region is pretty unique in terms of its ability to produce massive volumes of oil at a very low cost. And this is where they can easily beat the American shale producers based on the cost alone and the size of reserves. But their main weakness, the Achilles heel that's still here, is their lack of economic diversification, or economic diversification is not enough, because as long as you don't have that economic diversification, you are still at the mercy of needing higher prices to sustain your spending. Unless they go and they implement some serious, like they suspend most of the spendings and you do have unpleasant reforms in the country, I'm not quite sure how they can sustain a more prevailing lower oil price environment.